Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
Hello, I'm Anna Jackson, and this is your Golf Central update. Well, 5 cards were handed out on the PGA Tour Champions over the weekend, including Brian Cooper, who's just there on the right. A wonderful story, and he joined Damon Hack and me on Golf Today to talk about his big achievement.
Brian, it's great to see you on social. We've seen the tears and the gratitude, a lot of exhaling and reflection. What have the last couple of days been like for you as this new reality sinks in?
Well, I'm not real thrilled that you just did that again to me and made me cry, but it's honestly, I don't think it's sunk in. It's extremely surreal still to this day. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be that way for a while. It's unbelievable. I mean, this feeling is just, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me, my friends, my family, sponsors, everybody that's, it's always stood by me and believed in me. Last year was a tough year. And, I mean, I lost a lot of faith in myself, but it's been quite a whirlwind these last couple of days. I mean, I think in the last 2 days I've had 5 hours sleep. I'm just like wired. I cannot sleep. So it's an unbelievable feeling.
A moment in your career, Brian, that you have worked so hard for and will be an inspiration to so many people out there. And it's not the first time that you found yourself at final stage of Q School. It's the 4th consecutive trip that you've made there. What has kept you so motivated over the years to keep picking up the clubs, keep getting up, and just keep going at it?
I have to attribute a lot of it to my dad. He always pushed me as a youngster to be my best. And I've always adapted the feeling of just saying, listen, if you tell me I can't do it, all I'm going to do is work harder and harder and harder to do it. If you can't, because if you tell me it can't be done, I'm going to show you that it can be done. But I've always pushed myself hard. I've always believed in myself, and nobody's harder or pushes themselves harder than I do. Unfortunately, I'm just kind of the same way with my little 9-year-old, his hockey, but he responds the same way, so it must be in the blood. Oh, there he is.
there he is. And you've called him the best thing to ever happen to you. You both love sports so much. What was your first conversation like with him after you secured your card?
Dude, why are you doing this to me right now? Wow. It was tough. I mean, I was... I push him to achieve everything he wants. And, I definitely think I'm maybe a little hard on him, but he responds. And, but it's just my way of saying, son, anything you can do, anything you want to do and you set your mind to, you can do. And, honestly, I'm living proof of that. I'm 55 years old. I don't have the pedigree these guys have that, we're at finals. But I've just always pushed myself and believed in myself that I could do anything that I set my mind to. And, and this week it finally came true. I've been to finals. I've been in this position a couple times, and it's weird that third round in a couple years that I was inside the number or right on the number after 2 rounds, that third round's always been my nemesis. And this year when that third round went the other way, a little light in my head went off and said, okay, this might be a little different this year. So, and lo and behold, it was.
Brian, the folks at home would have no idea that when I visited with you during the WM Phoenix Open earlier this year, your shoulder was in a sling. You were 2 weeks off of surgery. How did you get from there to here? Well,
I mean, I thank my guys at Spooner. They were unbelievable in respect to getting me back, working me hard. My doctor, Freeberg, I mean, they did a great job. But it was definitely a long road. And any athlete that's ever been through rehab, whether it's shoulder, knee, elbow, it's lonely. It's a lonely existence. It's you and your workouts and your trainer, and nobody else is going through it with you. So it's tough. And, I went through that, and there were periods in there where I questioned, what am I doing? Am I working this hard to come back for something? Or is this the end? Is this the sign? And that's unfortunately when, those demons that I spoke of candidly crept in. And when the days got dark and, you started to question a lot of things that you were doing.
And Brian, a part of your story and a part of your recovery to get to where you are now with this bright future ahead, it is battling depression, which you were so open about talking about and sort of mentioning how going public was a way of relieving that burden and a way of overcoming it. Mental health is something that a lot of players have spoken about this year, and it's something that is a very hot topic of conversation and is so important. What would you say to someone who is going through it, who isn't sure whether to speak out, and what effect it had on your life having gone through that?
Well, I think for me, the first thing was admitting it to myself. And those dark days made it possible. But I can honestly say I've had so many people, friends, come to me and thank me for being able to be so candid because they feel like it's helped them. And they've been, for lack of a better word, in the closet, not wanting to admit it openly. I can't tell you in the last 2 days how many messages I've got just on social media alone by friends, fans, just people that saw the story, via, PGA Tour Champions posting it. And them saying, thank you. I appreciate you, being so candid and forthright and honest about your struggles. And, and I just tell them, I said, you got to battle. First thing you got to do is you got to admit it to yourself. And once you admit it to yourself, then you got to get help. I've had this conversation with many people. And quite frankly, if I had not come out and been honest with myself, I have no idea where I'd be right now, because there were some really dark days, and there were some deep struggles that I was dealing with by myself, and I was afraid to admit it because there is a stigma about this, especially with male athletes, and there shouldn't be. I mean, we all go through it. You lose a parent, you're going to be, if you're not depressed when you lose a parent, then you're lying to yourself. So there's all forms of depression, but the first step in getting that is admitting it to yourself, and then going forward and getting therapy, and therapy's been a godsend to me.
Brian, you've been on the fringes for a long time. Now you're in the mix. You're buddies with Jim Furyk. You know a lot of the guys out there. Just from a competitive, athletic standpoint, what are you most looking forward to in mixing it up with these guys in 2023? Every
week. I mean, honestly, every week. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this is a dream come true. I've always felt like I belonged out there. I think I've had, a lot of success as associate member and Monday qualifying. I mean, there was a year I think I Monday 4 times, and qualified for 2 majors. And there were 5 other, Mondays that I missed by 1 shot. So it could have been like a full year of just Monday. So I know I had always been kind of on the edge of getting there, on a regular basis. And I knew that if I just persevered that I could get there. And I didn't know it was going to be this year because I didn't even know if I was going to play golf anymore. I mean, I went to first stage this year and I practiced, I think 2 days before first stage, and I hadn't touched the club in like 3 weeks. I mean, I think I had 35 rounds total under my belt in this year alone. So, I mean, there was very little drive to want to go play golf this year. So to do this is so much more surprising, but maybe that's the recipe for me, is to not put so much pressure on myself and have a little bit more fun outside the game, and maybe it'll make it a little bit easier for me to have some success inside the ropes.